The lights are off and away they go.
Extremely loose. He's managed to hold on. I think he missed the complete. He's crazy stuff.
Side Freitas is on the grass on the infield floor. He slides through. He tags Richard Eck.
After opening rounds at Bathurst and Suzuka, Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship visits the Netherlands. And as the light of a sinking Dutch sun reflects off the North Sea, is Circuit Park Zandvoort that will host round 3 of 12 on the Season 6 calendar. And all the simulated open-wheel racing from both the 40-minute feature and the 25-minute sprint that follows can be seen live as it happens here on the Global Sim Racing channel. Guten Mittag and welcome to GSRC's Countdown to Green. Way up in the press box to bring you our words eye view is yours truly, Bill Soups On, along with Sean Crackers Ambrose. Down in the production van, turning the knobs and pushing the sliders is Amjad Yaman, with camera locations provided and aimed and zoomed and focused by GSRC's camera guru, Dougie Beard. Sean?
As cyberspace flows into your place over the next 15 streaming award-worthy minutes, GSRC will bring you all the storylines and all the stats and facts you'll need to fully appreciate the doubleheader Formula Renault 2.0 Championship event that will immediately follow.
And Crackers, the AOR Formula Renault 2.0 Championship didn't come here last season, so how about a quick refresher course on what this place is all about?
Circuit Park Zandvoort, located north of the resort town of Zandvoort, on the dunes that hold back the North Sea, Sue. The track was built just after World War II. The first Formula One race was in 1955. Now, back in 2001, the track was redesigned to the current configuration, which is 4.3 kilometers, 2.6 miles around, and has 13 turns. Something to watch out for is the sand that the cars can drag back onto the pavement. The best way to find out what this track is really like is to jump behind the wheel and take a lap around Circuit Zandvoort. Now, we wrecked up the Formula Renault 2.0. We've had to go to the backup car. We'll be in the BMW. Don't let that throw you. I am very sorry. The hamster apologizes.
All right, we've got Amjad Yaman in the GSRC BMW, so let's do a lap around Zandvoort. Coming up to the braking for Tarzan is honestly going to be your best place to overtake on the whole circuit. And despite the heavy banking on this hairpin, the inside line is still going to be the best place to put your car for defense or attack. If you somehow come out side by side, it's going to get tricky in a hurry. Gerlach is almost always single file with its narrow blind crest. But immediately, you're into Hugenholtz, which is another hairpin with plenty of camber. The key here will be setting up your exit, because despite the track weaving back and forth, it's flat out all the way through Slotemacher and into Schivlach. This long right-hander has a pretty difficult entry with a combination of a kink and a rise in the track. It makes for a blind, curved braking zone, and as you can see, it's not slow around this sweeper either, so hold on to your butts. After that, it's a short burst to Marlboro, which requires a precise flick to really carry your speed. Then, you're into a much more technical section of the track, starting with Renault. The circuit will basically switch back and forth with a couple slow, frustrating corners. Get the car off the right and you'll trudge your way around another hairpin with Vodafone. Watch your traction coming out of here, because you'll definitely need some good speed. That's because the car finally gets to stretch its legs out, so let it drift over to the left and try to spot your brake marker for the Audi S. These corners are reminiscent of the first few turns at Montreal. It involves a fair amount of braking, so you can sometimes make a pass, but it's difficult to force a too-wide situation, and it rarely happens without some form of contact between cars. From there, you're now reaching the end of the lap. Kumho is very lenient with the track limits, so don't be afraid to take a lot of curb at the apex. Finally, you've hit the most important turn of the circuit, Lyondike. It requires a small lift, but the sooner you get to the power, the better you'll be able to attack or defend. And as we come to the line, you've now finished a lap around Zandvoort.
And there's a lap around Zandvoort, albeit with a hood over the top of your head, but you get the idea. Now, before we look at the current points, let's review what happened last time at Suzuka, where 33 drivers took the grid with Oscar Mangan on the pole. and leading the first half of the race in the feature event. Christian Koch followed Mangan around until the pit window, and pit lane is where the pass for the lead was made. Charlie Summers qualified on the front row next to Mangan, but found trouble early and struggled most of the race, eventually earning a 14th. Jean-Francois Godin continued to impress, moving up from 6th to eventually finish 3rd, but it was Koch first to the checkered flag, with Mangan a half second behind in 2nd. 24 drivers finished on the lead lap, earning fan favorite Silvio Hurt the pole position for that sprint race that followed. But just like in the season opener, Hurt forwent the pole in lieu of starting from pit lane. So that put Christoph Holstein at the front of the grid. Running near the front, Stephen Ash and Scott Newton got together early, and chaos ensued, taking out several cars behind, including Oscar Mangan and Michael Mittner. A spin from Holstein while leading gave Charlie Summers the top spot. Avoiding the first lap carnage was Jordi Lopez, who put on quite a show and found himself in 2nd after gridding in 18th. Mark Usher eventually raced from 13th to take that 2nd spot, and defending champion Christian Tkach went from 11th to 3rd, as the bells are ringing here in the Dutchlands. Now, forcing Summer, Lopez to the podium in 4th, as those two guys got around him, but it happened behind Charlie Summers, who picked up the first career AOR win. So, who was the big points winner in Japan? Well, let's bring that up right now. Well, you don't need to win a race to win the day, as proved here by Oscar Mangan. A 2nd in the feature and a 9th in the sprint was enough to give the Infinity SimSport driver 39 points, the best for the day. A 3rd and a 7th for Jean-Francois Godin was good enough for 2nd, and for the Evo Sonic driver. A feature win and a sprint DNF put Christian Koch in 3rd, for Vector SimSports tied with SimRC's Renault Osterkamp, who had a pair of 5ths. Privateer Jordi Lopez rounds out the podium. So now, let's go ahead and bring up the driver standings and look how those fare out after just 2 events. Now, here's what's interesting. Godin sits at the top and Koch right behind him, only 4 points back. They both climbed 2 spots. Making room for those guys is the Red Devil racer Christian Tkach, who falls down into 3rd. Phil Reed, having a nice run so far, sitting in 4th. Big move up for René Osterkamp for SimRC as he moves up into 5th, rounding out the left side of the podium. Daniel Morris over there on the right side as well. Take a big look there at Oscar Mangan. Had a horrible Bathurst event, climbs 17 spots and shows up on the overlay. And in reverse of that, a mirror image is Aisio Tellas, who did not do well at Suzuka. He falls 5 spots down into 9th. Let's go ahead and see how the team championships are looking. Now remember, there's 2 drivers per team, and as we take a look at those, you can see that at the very top, it's Red Devil Racing. That's with Tkach and Summers, and those guys are going to be tough. They're up a spot now into 1st. Keep an eye on SimRC, that's Osterkamp, and the newcomer, Patrick Young, who's really, really good. Look at them in 2nd position. Dropping a couple spots, that's Vortex Sim Racing, Koch and Mittner, and you see the rest of them down there. Also in 4th, you should watch out for that one. That's Infinity SimSports, that's Mangan and Thompson in 4th. That'll shake up a little bit more as the season goes along. Now, Crackers, we've talked about that. But you know what? The AOR is one of GSRC's favorite series to cover. There's several unique features that we'll show right now with for the new viewers to catch up on, and with fast repairs and stuff like that to watch out. What do you think are some of the important parts here we're going to need to watch out for?
Well, first of all, you're going to need to watch this Formula Renault 2.0 work its way around these very, very solid 13 turns. You know, this track suit is really devoid of any chicanes. There's one, and that's turn 10. The rest of it is really a series of hairpins and carousels that really produce a lot of flow to this track. The car, about 2,000, almost 2,000 2,000 cc's. I was going to say horsepower there. 2,000 cc's really allows you to really open it up. You're going to have a lot of straight line speed through some pretty tricky parts on the track. Now, in these hairpins, you'll find 2nd gear, but you'll spend a lot of time in 4th gear and even up to 7th gear in this Formula Renault 2.0 on this track. It'll be a standing start today, and Soup, that produces a lot of fun because the standing start means there's no time to get any heat And these tires, we'll talk a little bit more about that when they actually get to the grid, but that will produce an interesting situation on the opening lap of this feature race, and even more interesting in the sprint race when everybody's going to be going for it from the back.
And let's talk about the details of the feature race here. Of course, there are 2 events today, and we'll show you those for new viewers. They can catch up on that doubleheader format. And one of the things we got to watch out, you see it highlighted there in yellow, you talked about it, is the cold tires that are going to be coming up. But also, finishing on the lead lap is important, right, Sean?
Yeah, definitely. You want to finish on that lead lap because at the end of this feature race, we will take all the drivers on the lead lap. We will invert their finish to the sprint race. And fast guys to the back, guys that didn't do quite as well to the front, and a mad dash to get it done in just 25 minutes.
And the first 2 races so far this season in the feature event has saw Sylvia Hurt. We talked about it. He finished last on the lead lap, and he decided that it would be better for him, and it's worked out for him as he's had good results as he has decided to forego starting from the pole in lieu of starting from pit lane, turning it over to somebody a little more brave or with a little more confidence or a little foolisher, depending on how you look at that. Hey, let's go ahead and talk about the curbing here. Every time these Formula Renaults, and we've seen races, the winner determined by, even though we didn't realize the car had damage, these little Renaults are very delicate. How friendly are the curbs here?
Well, Sue, you want to, on a couple of these turns, you actually want to get a little bit of that curb on the way off for a little bit of extra grip. Most of the curbs, not too bad. Gets a little tricky in turn 10 and Audi there when you get to that little hairpin in, or when you get to that chicane, which then opens up into a hairpin left-hander there. And the curbs there can certainly hurt the car if you overshoot that and you get in too hot. The rest of the curbs on this course, not bad as long as you stay to the left of them. Now, you start straddling them and getting over them, then basically any car can get out of shape. But you, like I said, in a few spots here, certainly out of the exit of turn 3, you want to try and get those tires, they're the right side of the tires. You want to get them on that curb a little bit on the exit there. Try and get a little extra grip off the turn. They will help you out.
And we talked about it before. You can pick up damage in previous races that we covered. We didn't even realize that the car was damaged. And when they come into pit lane, iRacing forces them to fix the car. And in this event, with competition so close, a pit stop about 4.5 to 5 seconds. But if you need repair on one of those wings, it could be anywhere from 10 to 12 seconds. And those extra seconds that you lose determines who's going to win the race. It has cost many a checkered flag. Looking at the qualifying that's going on now, they're still out there, but it's no surprise to see some big names up in front. Mark Usher, Christian Koch sitting up there very close. Sean, looking through there, really not any surprises up there today.
Not really. Little surprised that maybe a couple drivers aren't maybe a little farther up the board. Maybe Newt Martinson right now sitting there in, 14th provisionally right now, only able to turn a 139. Your really, really fast guys are in the lower 130s. We do have a 129 on the board, and that is Mark Usher. And I will tell you, after almost 4 hours of practice off and on yesterday, a 129 is pretty quick under these weather conditions, which right now, we've got 65 degrees Fahrenheit on track. 72 degrees Fahrenheit on track and 65 degrees under partly cloudy skies here in this afternoon session.
With just about 20 seconds to go, not soon if Canute, as we're looking at him right now, is going to be able to better his time, and I don't think he is. Let's go ahead and run down the grid right now and see if we can get our GSRC commentators bonus for getting every name in before they go green. On the front row, no surprise, we talked about it, Mark Usher and Christian Koch. Sean, who you got for row 2?
Row 2, Jean-Francois Godin and Michael Mittner.
Kerry Nolden inside of row 3. Outside of him is the Bathurst overall winner, Aisio Tejas.
Right, row 4, Rene Osterkamp and Christoph Holstein.
Row 5, Phil Reed and newcomer Josh Thompson.
All right, row 6, going to be Enric Andre and Jordi Lopez back with us today.
Manuel Hoyer and the Orange Viking Kmart himself, Canute Martinson, in row 7.
Yes, I get to call row 8, and that's going to be Daniel Morris and Patrick Kessler.
The Milkman Andy Cowie and Adrian Tierney in the next row.
Row 10, Lawrence Dirac, and Evan Imre.
Hidden Blackjack, Ty McLeod, and Jonas Vastamaki in the 22nd position.
Ah, yes, row 12. Little Stevie Chambers and Urka Lindstrom.
Alexander Trowbridge in the quarter-century mark. The Magic Wand, Daring Potter in 26th.
All right, I'm going to take the last three, Soup. Silvio Hurt, Patrick Jung on row 14, and starting 29th today, Sarah Dove.
That bonus is getting easier and easier each week as we make our way through the field. It was kind of a small field today, 29. There are a few cars down. 28 drivers were able to put in qualifying time. The little bird Sarah Dove did not. She's going to start at the back of the pack. Her goal will be to finish somewhere on the lead lap, but right now we're waiting for Mark Usher to take his spot on the grid. And he is out there now, so we'll get ready for these cars to warm up here in the late afternoon sun here in the Netherlands at Zandvoort. The track is clean now. Keep an eye and watch how the dust is pulled on as these cars go off. Let's hope we get a clean start here. Sean talked about how these tires are cold. They've got to be very careful as they make their way around the first lap. Waiting for this to get started up. Look at them lined up. You can see the long shadows. There we go. Gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows because the horses are out of the barn. And it is Mark Usher who's leading the way. Koch is able to get into Tarzan in second position. Godin in third. Your top five, it looks like Mittner and Nolden. They continue to work their way down. Now into corner three. This is this tight left-hander. And then they'll head down into what is kind of these little S's here. Not a real passing zone through here. The top five, it looks like we're clean back all the way through the pack.
Yeah, Soup, so far. Oh, we just had one get off back there. It was Silvio Hurt. Keep going. He's okay.
Leaders now working their way through this section through 7, 8, and 9. Marlboro, Renault, and then Vodafone. Not a big fan of naming corners after sponsors. But now maybe down for our first passing zone, maybe down here into the Audi S. And sure enough, back in third position, there is a battle for the outside, making a move. Trying to get in there is Mittner, and I think Mittner is going to have this. He's going to have the preferred position first, but then now he spins it. He gets out of the way of everybody. I'm not sure if he got into the wall. I think he was clean. Maybe not. I think he was good.
He's had to let everybody get by there, Sue. Here's the replay.
What do you see, Sean?
Oh, Mittner just loses it there off the turn. Maybe a little bit too much to the throttle, and you see everybody on the left is getting by. That was the entire field gets by him.
Do you think at that part of the track, after maybe half a lap, 3/4 of the lap, do you think the tires were full temp by there? Maybe pushing his luck a little bit?
Maybe not. Maybe pushing it just a little bit.
So with Mittner out, that moves Rene Oosterkamp into the 5th position. Let's go ahead and run down the back half of your top 10. Right behind Oosterkamp, making a look at him right now, is Phil Reed. Kerry Nolden. Look at the big names that you find back here in the back half of the top 10. Christoph Holstein, Josh Thompson, the newcomer. And rounding out your top 10, a guy we have to watch. He is really exciting, Jordi Lopez. We saw it last time. Lopez put on some real good battles with Mark Usher last time at Suzuka.
Yeah, and he was pretty fast in practice yesterday, Soup. The AOR has a 4-hour session the day before the race, and Jordy was one of the guys that put in a lot of laps and had great speed.
And that weather is the same weather that they bring over to us now. Partly cloudy skies, 65 ambient temperature, track temperature of 72. That's one of the things with the 72 degrees Fahrenheit. That's pretty cold. It takes a while for these cars to get warmed up as they work their way around, now completing lap number 2.
Yeah, this hairpin Tarzan turn 1, very, very tricky here. You're coming full speed, and you got to get all the way down to about 3rd gear. You want to get into running it out to the left there as you get through. Haven't seen anybody make a pass down there yet, but as we get some rubber on the track, Soup, I think we will.
Let's go to fifth right now. Here comes Osterkamp. You're looking at it, making a move, trying to peek in there. That's Phil Reed. Reed's got a reputation of being very patient. He's not going to force the issue there. He prides himself on bringing the car home. If the opportunity is there, he'll go ahead and grab it, but he's not the kind of guy that's going to chase opportunity down the sidewalk and tackle it on the front lawn. Now another guy maybe not in that one, Kerry Nolden right behind him coming up. Some big names there, both Reed and Nolden, former champions.
Soup, probably worth mentioning.
And we have an off. It was, who is that? It was very slow. Oh, it's Christoph Holstein had a problem. And right now he's trying to hang on to what he can. Knut Martinson gets around him, as is Hoyer. Now Hoyer got checked up, and there's more problems going on behind him. Hoyer got checked up behind Holstein. He got into it with Lawrence de Rijk. And I think de Rijk might have taken good evasive action there. I think the car that got into him was Kessler. And Kessler almost rolls the car.
Yeah, de Rijk really, really lucky to get through that, Soup.
Watch Kessler. There it is going on his nose. And de Rijk takes evasive action through the dunes, brings it back out. Good move from him. But that all started from Holstein getting loose, getting off track and having to check up, and everyone got backed up behind him. That could have been worse.
Boy, and Kessler obviously gets the worst of that there. Tough break. Man, that really shakes things up back there.
Oh, I got another problem here. Oh, no, I'm sorry. It's Kessler again? Is that... No, I'm sorry. The same as you. I apologize.
Same one, buddy.
Oh, no. It's Hoyer. We have a big one. This is Manuel Hoyer in it. That's what I'm looking at. Hoyer in it with Jonas Vastamaki. Hoyer almost goes on his lid, and we found it right here.
Yeah, there it is. Boy, I'm not sure what happened.
Look at that. It's coming across the top. It's Vastamaki.
The car was lifeless and just moving across the track there.
That's a tough one.
Oh, no, and we just had another one. Urka Lindstrom gets nailed from behind by, looked to been maybe Darren Potter.
Yeah, it was the magic wand.
Oh.
And then for good measure, gets him one more time. And yeah, Lindstrom came on with a, what are you doing? And we're just a little late on that one.
That was turn 10. We're just going to see here on the replay. That's that one I talked about. The only real chicane here, getting into it anyway. And he just misses the braking zone there, totally.
And then he comes across and then taps him one more time just for good measure. So, a little bit messy, but at least it hasn't been. It's been single or double car incidents, not the real big one. Out in front, unaware of any of the events going on behind him, is Mark Usher now with a 1.5 second lead over Koch. Not a lot of change going on in the front five. Godin, Teljes, and Osterkamp. This is the big battle. We go back to fifth. This is the one we've been watching. Yeah. Osterkamp seems to be the slowest here. Reed is like to get around Nolden and Thompson, as there's a nice four-car train.
Phil's been looking at it. He's definitely been looking at it. I mean, honestly, Renee makes another mistake. Phil's going to just eat him up here. Phil got to run on him here in the toe just a little bit. Now they're heading down to turn 10. Out of it now. So tricky through here to hold on. Don't want to get off too far to the right of that curve that they just went over. On board with Phil Reed here, looking forward.
Oh, here we go. He's got a good run, but unfortunately the defensive line by the yellow car of Osterkamp is going to force Reed to do it on the high side. Let's see how it works. He gets a good run in. Osterkamp able to hold on. Look at the run that Reed gets out of there. Now can he close the deal? And he gets it.
He's got nothing yet. Oh, boy. Now he's got it. Phil gets in front of him now.
Osterkamp back to 6th now. Nolden, Thompson, and Lopez.
Boy, and they're just on it. Full speed right here up the hill. Blind hill to the right. Got to slow the car. You really just burp it through there. You don't really get on the brakes, Soup.
Now let's see here as Osterkamp is being challenged by Nolden again. We'll see if Reed can pull away. This is the best battle. We'll go back and review maybe the from 10th back to 15th or so here in a second as they picked up a little bit. You see Reed not able to get away. Let's step away from this battle, which is really good. Let's just highlight. We'll come right back to it. Let's highlight the guys that are chasing him. 10th position, a newcomer, Enric Andre, all by himself. He's out in front of Christoph Holstein. Remember, Holstein was running up front, had that off, has fallen back a little bit. He was not involved in the incident that happened behind him as people were checking up. And we look at that, Holstein has had an issue. Right there. I had just moved away to go through the back of the back. Just a little spin.
He got caught out to the left of the curb here. You're going to see it. Just runs out a little bit wide. You're probably in about fourth gear right there, and he gets a little off into the dirt, and then the grass grabs him back into the kitty litter. Going to bring it back up on track with him. Takes him a while to get going again. Easy mistake to make there. It's a very, very high-speed turn. And the trick there is to keep it from going all the way out to the left. He doesn't manage that.
Well, the bad news is he's fallen back to 14th, but the good news is he can get a little bit of support. Oh, another car off in front of him.
Yep,
That is Ty McLeod.
McLeod having trouble with the hairpin there in turn 3.
As we look at the 5th place battle that continues. Now we go back to McLeod. We're going to get the replay on McLeod. And this has happened right in front of the drivers coming around that I wanted to talk about. Holstein has fallen back into the company of Adam Tierney. Those two teammates racing together now in 13th and 14th position.
And look who's there chasing him. It's Michael Mittner. Already finds his way back up into this fight now in 15th spot. He had fallen all the way practically to the end of the field, so he's done nothing to pick up spots since we last checked on him.
And a lot of communication going on. All right, I think we got to go back to 5th place because that's really the best battle on the track. And look at Osterkamp. This is the battle for 6th. Osterkamp weaving back and forth down the straightaway like a loom, ducking to the inside. That is Kerry Nolden. Nolden has a good run in. Now can he get the power down as they head down into the right-hander? Now it comes back around, and it's going to give that spot one more time to Nolden. Osterkamp drops one more back to 7th. Little by little, right behind him. This is John Thompson, who gets a run, trying to make it. This is Lopez, who has the run on Thompson. Lopez picks up that spot. Jordi Lopez is exciting. Not sure if I'd want him driving my kid to school in the morning, but man, if I had to if I'd have him in my race car, I'd feel good about it.
Tell you what, the New Jersey driver has got a little something for the European Union right now.
And now he's got around Thompson, and now he's working on Osterkamp. Osterkamp just, and here it is. There's a peeking out to the inside. And look at Osterkamp leaves him room, but he has the preferred position there. They continue to work through this. That's turn 11. Now down in, let's stay on this for a minute. Now they come into the 12th. And then through Arie Luyendyk, appropriately named for a Dutch track. Let's see what kind of run that Lopez can get here and see what kind of racing line Osterkamp takes. I'm not so sure if Lopez shouldn't be looking in his rearview mirror instead of ahead, because now coming up on him is Josh Thompson. Look at the tight line that Lopez takes. No, you're not getting on the inside of me, says the New Jersey driver. Thompson now, as they go Cialis bathtubs around Tarzan, they continue side by side, almost interlock wheels, and now they continue as they go through 2 and now into 3. And it looks like the position is going to be claimed back by Thompson. Woo!
Soup, so much rubber gets built up down there in turn 3. Everybody, that's a good spot to lock them up. You got to be so careful through there. Kerry Nolden, though, gets the position from Phil Reed up to 5th, leading the charge right now, this train of cars.
Remember, Reed had got around Osterkamp a while ago. Then Nolden came through, and now Nolden able to pick up 5th position. All this going on way behind. Aisio Tellis in 4th position has a 4-second lead to those guys. Godin in 3rd. Koch and Usher, really no battles in the top 5. All the excitement going on back behind. Go, Sean.
Mistake from Jordi Lopez, has to lock him up. Back in turn 9 over in the Vodafone. Not sure exactly why he locked him up, but he did. Lost a little bit of ground there to Josh Thompson. Here it is on the replay. maybe there was contact. It was awful, awful close. He obviously had to check up there. Not seeing any a little bit of front wing damage on that car. Maybe the right front wing a little banged up.
Yeah, and I think that front wing is going to cost him. He's coming in right now. Now, Sean, at least he won't lose any time on the track with the damage. But again, pit stops are about 4.5 to 5 seconds. But if iRacing makes you change the front wing, it's anywhere from 10 to 12 to 13 seconds. And boy, he's been in there for a while.
He has.
Yep.
He has. And he's out. He's off the lane now. Not off the lane yet, but he's out of the box. And he did have to take repairs, Sue.
And to show you what that means, he's coming out right in front of Andy Cowie, who's racing back there in about 20th position.
Yeah, it looks like that might have been a scheduled stop for the Milkman there.
Yep.
A nice short stop for him. The window is wide. We didn't talk much about that. You will need a fuel to get this stint done, but it's a very, very wide window, and I think at this point we're within that. We should be in good shape.
Lopez in his box, 10.6 seconds, just as we expected. That's compared to the other guys who were making stops. Well, for instance, Andy Cowie, who was in there for 5.1, so there's the 5-second difference there.
Now, Soup, Osterkamp trying to get that spot back from Phil Reed finally. Looks like Osterkamp found, got it back together, reeled it in just a bit.
Those guys, they are a show in themselves right there. Those continues at Osterkamp looking to get around Reed still out in front. Remember now, once Nolden has got around, Nolden's opened up about a half-second gap on lead. Here come Osterkamp right now, looking, peeking, gets back in, actually has to check up a little bit. They continue. Now they'll go into the right-hander of 2, and then this almost like a hairpin, this left-hander of 3. Now they get the power down through the S's, maybe a passing zone up here in through 6. See what kind of run Osterkamp has. The track will weave back and forth. Look at the yellow car with the run. The problem is it's just not a real part to duck your nose in there. You can't do it.
It's really, really tough. You're first of all, you're flat out, and then you've got to lift right there and get down a couple of gears to make that right-hander.
Now through 7, 8, and 9 that I like to call Chloe, Courtney, and Kim because I disapprove of naming corners after sponsors. Lawrence Sutton's strike to Reich is in, and he's been complaining about damage. They work through 7, 8, and 9 complex now. Now they come up into another good passing. This is the Audi S. Let's stay with this battle a little bit because I think if Osterkamp can get a good run, Sean through 12, and then I guess Ari Lyondike 13. That's really the important one to get a good run down the straight, right?
Yeah, it really is, Soup, and you got to get that car all the way out to the left of the curve. Use a little bit of that, and then keep it really, really tight coming up the hill.
He's about 2 car lengths back. He's about 1 car length back. This is really not a long straightaway. That there's not you can see him gain just not enough time, and especially when Reed takes that defensive line. He's going to have to be a little closer. Boy, you can see the smoke from the cars up ahead as Nolden locks him up a bit.
Nolden hot on his tail, though, right up his wing. Get back through this lot of the camber in this turn right that you're going through now. Oh, you can so use that to your advantage, but man, you can't. Unfortunately, you can only get through there so fast without just the limits of centrifugal force are exceeded, and you will run off and hit that wall. That's the tricky part. What a great battle on screen between these two. Phil Reed still keeping Renee Osterkamp at bay.
Let's quickly jump back to 17th position. This is Patrick Jung, a driver that we have been really impressed with. He's in a battle with one of our favorites, the Flying V, little Stevie Chambers back here. This is a battle for 17th spot. I want to take a quick look, make sure these guys are both on the same pit strategy, and they are. Now, Jung, we saw Osterkamp. You can see the familiar painted car. That's the SimRC colors. That's Osterkamp's partner.
Oh, Jordi Lopez with a mistake, Soup. Gets off wide, coming in a little bit too hot. Might have missed his shift there or didn't lift enough. But boy, she gets wicked loose. And might have been a downshift there that caused that car to break on him a little bit.
He loses 2 positions. He gives one to Cowie and to Sarah Dove. That's a little bit iffy because we know that Cowie has made his stop yet, so that's Lopez has also come in, so that makes Andy Cowie the leader of all the cars who have pitted. Check to see if Sarah has come in as well. She has not.
Boy, things started off so strong for Jordy, and a couple of mistakes, having to take that pit stop, and oh boy.
We look there at Jordy.
Maybe we'll stop talking about him soon.
Again, that's
cursing the poor guy now.
That's why you don't want to put your kid in the car seat in the back seat and let him take him to school, because he's one exciting driver.
We might be in for a bumpy ride, is what you're saying.
As our director reading my mind, checking back in with our leader right now. Of course, our pit stop's coming up. Mark Usher having it his way, 4.2 seconds ahead of Christian Koch. And again, he's got 2 seconds on Jean-Francois Godin. Now, the French-Canadian driver racing in third right now, I think he is a real threat for the championship so far this season. Having a great race. He was really, really, really good at Bathurst, but he ran into some bad luck when he got together with Usher. Ruined his day there. If it wasn't for that, he'd be well out in front of the points. But he's having a great run.
Soup, I thought somebody just came in the pits there. I thought Stevie Chambers did. He didn't. Oh, I think Stevie had a problem, actually.
Yeah, Stevie is no longer in that battle.
He spun.
Yeah, Cowie way out in front of him now.
Yeah, he actually loses it right in the middle of Renault and Vodafone there. Getting off the turn is where he spins it, Soup.
Director looking for it. Sometimes they're hard to find. And that was that battle where we remember he was chasing that yellow car of Patrick Jung.
Boy, and Stevie has to be here. He's got to be really careful. Yeah.
Take a look at it as we're not going to find it here.
There he is.
Give him there. He gets it loose. That's a little bit the costume. Just a little bit. There it is.
It took him a while to get turned around, Soup, and he loses an awful lot of positions and then brings it in the pit.
So what my dad used to call the early peel, late reveal, that's Andy Cowie right now. We have to watch out for him. He's racing in 18th position. He's 49 seconds behind the leader, but he's the only one who has made his stop. Want to make sure that it's in the window. He's been out there for 4.5 laps. I think he's good to go from here. And he's a veteran. He knows not to fill up the milk cans until he can get to the end.
Well, Soup, the top 17 cars on track, 45, almost 46 seconds separate them, but none of them have come into the pit yet.
The battle that we were watching between Nolden and Reed and Osterkamp Thompson, that's kind of separated themselves. How about a little love to our 9th place driver? This is a newcomer. I don't think we've seen him before. Enric Andre, racing in 9th. He's got about 3.5 seconds back to Daniel Morris, who rounds out your top 10. Sean just mentioned 23 drivers on the lead lap, the last being Lawrence Sudden Strike de Rijk, who has made his stop. He was in there for 12 seconds. He had picked up a lot of damage. The drivers in the back that have made their stop, Potter, Chambers, de Rijk, Lindstrom, and Martinson. Lindstrom and Martinson already a lap down. Now, they may get that spot back with the leader still needing to come in. Not a lot of big-name drivers other than Jordy Lopez, who I guess has finally called it a day as he's in the pits right now. Go ahead, Sean.
Yeah, Jordy unfortunately been in there for a while now. So going on 4 minutes for Jordy. Don't think he's going to get it back on track. In fact, it looks, yes, he has taken the car behind the wall. So
let's go to 5th. I said it had broken and slowed down, but Phil Reed has managed to run back down Kerry Nolden. Nolden got around Reed and kind of said, adios.
And Osterkamp kind of disappeared from the battle, Soup. Sitting back there now by himself, 7th spot, but yet Phil's starting to kind of turn up the wick a bit here on Kerry. It's about as close as he's been here for several laps.
Now, you're not probably going to see this get too aggressive, but both these guys are racing for the Mega Drive team. Oh, and Adam Tierney has had an issue. This had a little spin and then backed it in the wall. A great job of getting around. Actually, a good view of this would be from Ty McLeod. That happened right in front of Evan Emery, and Ty McLeod almost got into it. Look at this here as Tierney loops it, and then there goes Tierney and McLeod on the inside. Woo!
Tierney just a little bit too hard on the brakes there, getting into his braking zone, locks him up. On board with Ty McLeod, we're going to see how he misses the carnage here.
He's going to be second to the incident.
Hey.
It's inside. It wasn't the parked car that almost got him. It was Emery who he got around.
Yeah, poor Evan stuck there in the middle. Good job by Evan also avoiding that one.
Oh, now we have Rene Oosterkamp has finally brought that yellow car into the pits. We want to see if he can get out before Cowie. I would think he should have no problem doing it. Cowie just working his way through 11 right now. Oh, look at that, though, on the front right. That's wing damage. That's going to cost him some time. Cowie working through 12 right now. Why are we talking about Andy Cowie? Well, he's the leader of all the cars who've pitted. Cowie now coming through 13, heading off onto the main straight. Is Oosterkamp rolling yet? Yeah, Oosterkamp is out now. Here we go. So, Oosterkamp, the new leader. You know what? He was only in there for 4.5 seconds. So, even though he had wing damage, iRacing was kind to him.
Yeah, it really was. That is a little strange, isn't it? Not a long stop at all. See, Adam Tierney just came in. He had a rather long stop. Tierney getting out of the pit lane now.
Tierney making up for that, the rear wing damage that when he backed it into the wall in that incident that we just saw. I think Oosterkamp got away with one, or either that we were getting one of those false damage.
Yeah,
views.
That's possible too. I didn't think about that, but we might have gotten a little bit of what they call the
false information there.
Yeah, and that happens sometimes in this medium of the internet and streaming. So that's okay. No problem. He got in and out. Phil Reed's in.
Now, this will be close. With Oosterkamp's pit stop being very quick at 4.5 seconds, him getting in and out in front of Oosterkamp. Remember, they were battling. So Reed is in his box right now. Now he begins to roll. Looking back for Oosterkamp. Where is that yellow car? Oh, it's a ways back. I think it is.
Yeah. Well, no, Oosterkamp now just getting out of turn one, so he's right behind him.
2.6 seconds. That's about what it was. After Reed got around Oosterkamp early in the race, he was able to pull away. As they start to come in, we'll start to pick up all the drivers. And I'm telling you, network broadcasting, we have a problem here. Nolden has had an issue.
Yeah, he has. Oh, boy.
And boy,
loses it in Renault, going into Renault there.
And it was Thompson that he almost... This is Thompson coming around that almost gets him as he starts to back up. Nolden got away lucky. Now watch this. We'll stay on this for a minute. Here comes Thompson that was training him. Nolden is there, but he got to get going. Here comes Thompson.
Oof.
And Nolden backs up, and Thompson takes the wide angle, gets around. Nice job. Well, that's gonna crush him when the pit stops happen. Just to follow up on my point, when you're watching something on network TV, except for Formula One, which is much better at it than most broadcasts, they love to focus on pit entrance. They pay no attention to pit exit, which is really the most important part of a pit stop. Where do you come out in relationship to the guys you were running with? Well, now I don't think Reed is going to have any problems getting out in front of Nolden with that one. We'll see if he can get out in front of Thompson.
Okay, found a good battle here as we see Michael Mittner come in. He was in a battle himself and has to peel off. Come on in.
Mittner trying to make up from that early problem that he had done a good job of making a recovery.
Really has. I mean, Mittner, hats off to Mittner. He's having a great race after the way it started for him. It all went bad quick, and he made it work.
And remember, it's whatever points he can score, he's racing. He's teamed up with Christian Koch, who's currently running in second for Vortex SimSport. Wants to score as many points as they can. It's not only the driver championship, but the team championship as well. Let's go to 20th real quick. Just have a little fun. This is Stevie Chambers in a battle with Lawrence Sudden Strike to right. Not sure if these guys are on the same pit strategy. Sure they are. They both made their stops. This is a legitimate battle for 20th. And look at this. Oh, well, that's a bit of a late move there, Steven. I'm not on the race steward board, but you want to, for me, you'd like to see that defensive move made a little earlier, a little farther down the strategy, farther down the straightaway. Pit stops are in. Here they come. Usher, Koch, Godin, and Tellius all coming in. Thompson as well. Waiting for everyone to come around. The leaders of all the pit stops are Reed. He had a real fast one at 4.4. Don't think he's nearly close enough to get out before these guys. And nope, Usher is out.
Right. In
Nolden is out.
Terry
That's
Nolden.
how it should be. Yep.
Yeah, he got out right in front of Nolden.
Well, Nolden has not made his stop, right? Yeah, Nolden. That's right, because Nolden had that spin. So he's out in front of Nolden. He's out in front of Koch. Oh, Thompson in there for 10 seconds. Out of all those front runners, he's the guy who had to pay the price, either wing or undercarry damage. That means he comes out in 7th behind Osterkamp. And Thompson complaining about his stop right now. 10-second stop. Yep. You have a right to complain.
Hey, you got to. We talked about it in the pre-race. Soup, you did. You've got to take care of the car here. Protect that under tray. Just a little bit of damage can leave you sitting in the pits, and especially protect these wings.
Keep the pit crew away from the Heineken. That helps too. So the only front runner who has not come in yet is Kerry Nolden, racing in 2nd position right now. Everybody pretty much filing into. In fact, it's Nolden and Sarah Dove, the last 2 cars to pit. Looks like Sudden Strike to Reich, racing in 21st position, is the last car on the lead lap, and pretty darn well out in front of the guy who is leading. So I think he might be able to stay on that lead lap. That battle continues though between DeReich and Chambers. Let's stay on this a minute for a little bit. I'd like to see what kind of a racing line Chambers takes down that the main straight again. They work their way through corner 9, Vodafone, now down into the Audi S. Not really much of a passing zone here. And then they come around. Now you have the it's really 2 sweeping right-handers, almost like one big right-hander, 12 and 13. There's the first sharp one, and now the sweeping one. This is appropriately named after the great Dutch race driver Arie Luijendijk, my wife's favorite race car driver. And I don't think the Sudden Strike to Reich is going to be close enough to make a sudden strike. Again, though, look at that move from Chambers. I don't know. He wasn't really close enough. If that would have hindered him, I think we'd have a little argument in the forum afterwards. Okay, finally Nolden has made that stop. Where did Kerry sort himself out after he had a spin earlier? Nolden comes out in 8th. He is behind Thompson. Remember, you saw Thompson get around to stop Nolden out on the track. 7.5 minutes of racing left here at Zandvoort.
Soup. I'm sorry, Michael Mittner is making a run at Christoph Holstein. Going to do it coming up the front straight, looking to the inside. Going to try and get position him on into Tarzan. Easy for me to say. Here we go. Ooh,
and he gets it done. And again, that's the driver that really has been making his way through. He worked his way up, then took a stop earlier than everybody else. Back up to 9th. He qualified 4th. He's got about 3.4 seconds to get to Kerry Nolden. That's probably a tall order, as Nolden really doesn't belong back there in 8th position. He has the speed to probably fend off Mittner. But again, you can see the consequences of mistakes as you see Nolden back in 8th, Mittner in 9th. Drivers that should be way farther up the track.
Well, Mittner has done a wonderful job of recovering. I know we've talked about it time and again, but he's been, let's face it, he's been smooth since the trouble he found early. And you know what? As we start to look here at Ciatella's having trouble. Oh, he's around.
Yeah, he was in 5th position. He didn't hit anything. He's going to lose a spot. I believe he's going to lose a spot. Yeah, he's going to lose one to Osterkamp. Then he gets it rolling. I think he gets out in front of the next one. He's going to lose 1 position.
Boy, he just loses it. And I don't think it was the curb that upset him. I think the car just started to go around on him. He better get back to the throttle a little bit too quick.
Considering how long he was in the Dutch grass there, that's losing 1 position. That's a cheap price to pay.
Yeah, 1 position, though, and a lot of damage, Soup. The right front wing on Telus' car really bad.
So that puts Rene Osterkamp into the top 5. Remember, Rene was back there battling with Thompson and Nolden and Reed and Lopez. Well, Reed's the only guy who's in front of him in 4th right now. Thompson is gone, Nolden is gone, Lopez is long gone. Oh, and who was that we saw on track there?
Yeah, Silvio Hurt. Looks like had another spin.
Silvio Hurt did not hurt the car. He kept it off the nose, but...
Yeah, Renault, the Renault turn has been tough. Turn 8 been tough on several drivers today. Tough on Silvio there.
Good news for Silvio is he is now no longer the last car on the lead lap, so he won't have that tough decision of whether to start up front or not. That's going to belong to Lawrence Sudden Strike to right. And with a name like Sudden Strike, you got to assume he's not going to surrender that pole position. He's going to be happy to start up there. Now, Chambers, remember, was in that battle. Looks like Chambers has left those guys behind. Let's go into 19th position. Chambers has left or right behind, and now it's Tierney who is racing in 20th. With the right coming on to him, Tierney must be having some problems.
Yeah, we've seen that.
Tierney's last lap was a 142, so he must have had an issue, or he's just well off the pace.
Yeah, we've definitely seen Adam be quicker than this, Sue.
With just under 4 minutes, I think we would be smart to look at second position here, because we might have a story developing. And that is Godin is trying the best he can. He's only a second back of Koch. I'm not sure if he has enough to get there, and if Koch just might be managing the gap right now. But it's down, it's down to 0.8. He's knocked off another 1/10 of a second. With just 3 minutes as they cross the line here, probably looking at, it's going to be real close to whether that was 2 to go. Oh, Rene Osterkamp has had he was off in the sand, didn't hit anything.
Boy, and that last carousel turn there, Kumo into Ari Leindijk, Soup, is just a killer, and he gets out a little bit too far to the left of the curb, collects the dirt,
and gets
it around.
As we go live, you can see right in front of Osterkamp. Well, who is it? It's Acia Tellius. Remember, Tellius is the guy who just spun, gave that spot to Osterkamp. And a little kind of Chip and Dale cartoonish thing. No, after you, after you, after you. They give each other the spot back. Demographics may not be good on the Chip and Dale reference. Google it, boys and girls. And by the way, that's Chip and Dale. They're actually chipmunks, not to be confused with Chip and Dale, the
Patrick Swayze.
dancing,
Yes, right.
In fact, let's go to Osterkamp right now. They're side by side. This is Osterkamp getting that spot back from Tellius. And Osterkamp back to 5th. What is going on behind here, though? Here comes Thompson. Here comes Nolden. I talked about Osterkamp, how he left those guys behind. Oh. Well, they're back, and here comes Nolden now on the inside of Tellius. Watching the whole thing happen in the back. And Mittner's on the way, too.
Look at Thompson. Give these guys the muscle. Oh, watch out on the outside.
Oh, look at the run that Thompson. What a pass by Nolden there on the outside of Tellius. Oh, my goodness. And watch out, boys, while you're having all this fun. He might be too fat to get to the party before it's time for everyone to go home, but Michael Mittner is in the hunt as well. So how does that settle down right now? Well, 5th position, Osterkamp. 6th position is Thompson. Nolden in 7th, and Alicia Tellius, who just had 5th, he just got that back from Osterkamp, now loses it. He's back to 8th. It came quick, ACO.
You know, Jean-Francois Godin right now with an outside chance. I know we're following that, but with an outside chance, taking this position away from Christian Koch, they continue to battle for second place.
Yeah, it was 0.8 of a second. He's got it down to 0.5 of a second. Unfortunately, though, we have 43 seconds left to race. We have to be careful. I don't think that we're going to get the checker flag this time around. We'll watch out. Coming through 12th and 13th. We think it's going to be 1 to go. And Usher, just as our leader, I was watching him just put the car off into the sand. Careful there, Mark, as he comes across the start-finish line with 21 seconds left to race, so he'll be seeing the white flag this time. Checker flag next time around. Koch with about 0.7 of a second. Going to look at Osterkamp now. That's the best battle on the track, Sean. Osterkamp, Thompson, Nolden.
It really is, Sue.
It's really funny because they all started. This was the battle we saw early on, and then they lost touch with each other, and this like old lovers getting back together after many decades. They're back here to finish it up. 3 cars racing again. Nolden really, really having troubles. He's lost touch now. I don't think he's going to be in the hunt now. What was a Pardet du Trois now becomes a 2-car battle. Meanwhile, our race leader has made it around 7, 8, and 9, down through 10, through 11. He's just got the right-handers to go. Mark Usher has been fast all season. Getting the results that reflect his speed has been the issue. And as he comes around 13, the Apex Online Racing Formula 2.0 Championship, round number 3, from Zandvoort goes to Mark Usher. Christian Koch is going to get second as he holds off Godin. Phil Reed made those spots up, gets fourth. Let's go ahead and look at Osterkamp now. This is where the battle is. Osterkamp holding off Thompson. Nolden too far to get in the mix right now. Now they go through 12. I think that Osterkamp probably has a big enough lead unless he makes a mistake. The start-finish line is going to come up too soon for Thompson to get this spot. They come off of Ari Leyendijk. Back and forth, the yellow car trying to break the draft. No, he's going to make a run, but it's going to happen too late. Osterkamp gets 6th. Thompson gets 7th. Nolden gets 8th. Mittner. Let me correct myself. Nolden gets 7. Mittner was able to get Tellius. We thought it was coming. Tellius gets 9th.
Oh, boy. Daniel Morris just digs it out. Gets 11th away from the milkman there in the last turn.
We're going to look down at P18 we're hearing. This is, oh, look at this. This is Chambers, Tierney, and DeRuyck. Remember, we talked about that. We thought Chambers had got away from these guys. This is through 12. Oh, this is through 12. Now through 13. They had ran him back down. Let's see what this is. Chambers out in front. I think he's going to get there safely ahead of Tierney. And then the last car on the lead lap, it's going to be Lawrence Sudden Strike DeRuyck on pole for the sprint race.
Wow.
Wow, indeed. Well, the best part of any doubleheader is, of course, the break in between. It is that perfect mix of post-race high and pre-race jitters. What we're going to do right now on the Global Sim Racing channel is take a short break, but we will come back between the two events, the feature and the sprint race, to run down the entire finishing order, talk to some of the drivers, and then get everything set up to bring you that 25-minute sprint race that'll be coming up soon. We'll be back shortly. Welcome back to GSRC's coverage of the Apex Online Racing's Formula 2.0 Championship from Zandvoort. It's round number 3 of 12 on the schedule. We just got the feature race in the books, and it was exciting with storylines up and down the finishing order. And let's give you that finishing order right now. The man who has no idea of what went on behind him as he goes wire to wire is Mark Usher as he comes home 7.5 seconds ahead of Christian Koch. Jean-Francois Godin did a nice job to try to run down Koch, but couldn't get there, needed a few more minutes on the clock. Phil Reed made a move early, got around some drivers, got into 4th position, and that's where he brings it home right now. The exciting part comes, and we're going to talk to these guys in a minute here. Renee Osterkamp, Josh Thompson, Kerry Nolden go 6th, 7th, and 8th. Some of those guys had troubles on the track. A man who had trouble early, Michael Mittner. We watched him work his way through the field. He gets 8th. Aisio Tellis was running way up in the top 5, going to come home at 9th. Another driver who found trouble, Christoph Holstein, rounds out the top 10. Sean?
Let's take the next 10. Daniel Morris, going to finish 11th. Andy, the Milkman Cowie, 12th. Enric Andre, going to finish 13th. 14th, Evan Imre. Ty McLeod, 15th. Patrick Jung, 16th. 17th, going to go to Alexander Trowbridge. Saradov, 18th. Little Stevie Chambers, 19th. Adam Tierney, going to hang on and finish 20th.
And fans of Lauren's sudden strike to Reich are going to be happy as he finishes in the blackjack position. Last car on the lead lap. Look for him on the pole when we line them up in reverse order for the 25-minute sprint breaks coming up in just a few. Rounding out the drivers who finished not on the lead lap. The Magic Wand, Darren Potter, Silvio Hurt. Knut Martinson, the Orange Viking, in 24th position. Urkel Lindstrom and Jordi Lopez. We saw him up front. He ends up in 26th. He was exciting, but didn't get to the kid to the school after all. Jonas Vastamaki in 27th position, Manuel Hoyer and Patrick Kessler 28th and 29th, and I believe that's all that we have there. Who do we have for interview, Sean? Who you want to talk to?
Well, Phil Reed's here. Let's talk to Phil Reed here real quick. Phil, can you hear us?
Yeah.
There's Phil. Hey, Phil, great race, man. There was a lot going on out there. I want to ask you a question because I put in some time here yesterday. Is it tough to get into a rhythm here?
It can be. Yeah, it's a little frustrating sometimes when you're trying to get the car turned in some of the corners, and then sometimes it will, and then sometimes it just decides, oh, well, not today. I'm just going to go that way instead. So, otherwise, once you get into it, once you get focused, yeah, it's actually pretty decent. There are a couple of corners which I find tricky every lap. Towards the sort of middle sector of the lap, sort of the right and the left that follow there. They are 2 difficult corners there. But, yeah, no, once you get into a rhythm, it feels good. But, yeah, it is. It can be difficult. Yeah, it's probably one of the most driver tracks that we go to this season, I think. And it's described as a roller coaster for cars for a reason.
Yeah, it does seem like there's a lot of wheel input going on pretty much the whole trip around. Now, what's the strategy for the sprint race?
Well, I finished 4th, so I will be 18th on the grid. I mean, who knows? This is Zandvoort. I think there's a decent enough gap between, like, in terms of pace between the guys at the back and the guys at the front, so it shouldn't be too hard, even though it is quite difficult to overtake here anyway. It should be made easier because there are just differences in driving around here that can make it fine. Hopefully we avoid incidents, and I think that's my initial strategy, is just get through the first few laps, see if I pick up any places from incidents here and there. Yeah, but I'm pretty confident that we shouldn't have too many incidents. The last time that we had a track sort of as cold as this on lap 1, we were at Virginia last season, and everyone thought it was going to be a bit of a mess on the lap 1, and it actually turned out to be one of the cleanest. So hopefully it's the same here.
Yeah, we can hope for the best, definitely, and maybe not expect the worst. Hey, congratulations on a good finish. We're going to watch you dig all the way back there from 18th place. Go get him, bud.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
All right, Soup, that's Phil Reed. I think you caught up with Renee Osterkamp.
I do. This has got to be the hardest he's ever had to work for a 5th place finish. Renee, we saw it the whole way. Wow, what an event for you.
Hi guys, yeah, it was.
Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of Apex Online Racing's Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, round number 3 from Zandvoort. Hey, we had some technical difficulties. We apologize for that. We had to go off the air and were not able to get Renee Osterkamp's interview, which was really interesting. He talked about the time he was abducted by aliens and was only able to escape because they were not aware of the old "your shoelace is untied" trick. But maybe we can get Renee back on and he can tell that story one more time. Sean, right now, let's go ahead and get to what's coming up here in this sprint race.
What's coming up in the sprint race, you ask? Well, quite a bit, Soup. Of course, we are inverting everybody from the lead lap in this sprint session. And what does that mean? Well, it means potential for great chaos, but I don't think there will be.
Nah.
We'll see. Honestly, this format has proven to be a lot of fun all season. Fuel's not going to be a factor here, Soup. You've got plenty of fuel to get through this sprint race. What is going to be a factor, what remains, is the same condition we had to start the race. Tires are going to be cold. It's going to be a standing start. You don't get any fast repair. All those things you've got to look out for here when you're starting a very, very short race. 25 minutes, that's all you get. Soup, it's going to be wild. It's going to be fun, and Silvio Hurt is going to be the man to lead them off.
Well, no, not this time. See, it's force of habit.
I'm
you just
sorry, I
assumed
did that, didn't I?
Because it was Bathurst and then Suzuka, it's always Silvio Hurt. No. Silvio, that's not our fault, man. When you do it so often, it's kind of like, how can we help ourselves? No, it is Lawrence sudden strike to right today.
It is Lawrence to right. I totally messed it up.
And there's no way that Lawrence is not going to start for. I know him well enough that he's licking his chops. He's already thinking 3 words for him: wire to wire. That's what's on his mind right now.
How quickly can I dust these turkeys? That's exactly what he's thinking. Yeah.
If you haven't watched one of these before, and I know we always are getting new viewers as the viewership continues to grow here on the Global Sim Racing Channel, thanks to the great product that the AOR guys put on. If you haven't seen one of these 25 minutes, put away your clipboards for pit stops. Sean mentioned it's not going to happen. 25 minutes. And Sean, a lot of this now, when it comes to championship, we talk about it every time. Those guys in the back, the guys who won, it's not about winning, although they like to win. It's about how many points can I get to carry over to the next round.
Yeah, you know what? You got to do it. You can't be the bull in the china shop to get up there either, because one, you got to take care of the car because you don't get any repair. And a pit stop's not going to do you any good in this race. Then there's only a 12-point incident cap. And again, that 12-point incident cap, this track, very easy to pick them up a little bit. So you got to be careful. Like I said, you can't be the bull in the china shop trying to make your way to the top. What you're looking for is a solid run. What's a solid run? Well, get into the top 10 and then talk to me about a top 5, and then I'll talk to you about a solid run.
Yeah, and they get about 2/3 of the points. They get about 32 points for a win here, 20 points for a win in the sprint race, 32 for a feature race win. And of course, there are bonus points. They give a bonus point for the pole in the feature race that was won by Mark Usher. And then they also give bonus points for fastest lap per race, and if you can race one without any incidents. Here, obviously, you don't get the pole as there is no qualifying, but you do get a bonus point for fastest lap and for a clean race as well. And with the points race being so close, coming down to just a handful of points last time, those bonus points can be what determines a champion. Practice is just about done. The weather will carry over. It is the identical late afternoon weather that we had in the first round. Remember, we saw an incident early about people being aggressive before their tires warmed up. That was Michael Mittner who got bit by that one. We'll see how it plays out right now. But once again, Sean and I hope to get our GSRC commentator bonus by getting through all of these. We don't have much time, so let's run them down a row at a time. On the front row, it's no surprise, Lawrence Sudden Strike to right and Adam Tierney.
Yes, sir. And in row 2, going to be little Stevie Chambers and Alexander Trowbridge.
Row number 3, Patrick Jung and Ty McLeod.
All right, row 4, Evan M. Ray and Enric Andre.
Rounding out that overlay, Andy the Milkman Cowie and Daniel Morris.
All right, going to go back to row 6. And there you'll find Christoph Holstein and ACL Dellis.
Michael Mittner and Kerry Nolden behind them.
Row 8, Josh Thompson, Renee Osterkamp.
Jean-Francois Godin and Christian Koch, 18th and 19th. Oh, Phil Reed in there as well as 17th. I'll go down to 20th. Mark Usher, we're not going to get our bonus. I'm going to get it. Darren Potter, Silvio Hurt, Knut Martinson, Erka Lindstrom, Jordi Lopez. We didn't make it that time. Sorry, honey, I'm not taking you. Not going out to dinner tonight. No bonus for us. Meanwhile, gather up the chickens, take cover behind the cows. There is a battle up front. And it is Lawrence Sutton Strike to Reich is going to be able to fend off. I think he's going to get that spot.
Oh.
Yep.
Soup, look at this. 3 wide already down into turn 3.
There is contact, and it looks like Emery involved in it. Oh, Emery, Patrick Jung got loose and got into Emery, I believe. It was only a 2-car combination, though. It could have been a lot worse.
And back behind them, Mark Usher also got turned around right in front of Knut Martinson.
And there you have it. There's your race winner, Mark Usher, having trouble. That's what you got to avoid. A guy who's not having trouble is Lawrence Sutton Strike to Reich, out in front by 1.3 seconds, trying to leave Stevie Chambers behind. Chambers fending off Alex Trowbridge and Ty McLeod in 4th. Big battle going on behind him, a battle for 5th. This is Andre making a move around the outside of Adam Tierney. Daniel Morris, as I hear more contact going on behind. Oh, it looks like it was Darren Potter got into it.
Yeah, he did. Potter gets in the wall hard, trying to make it 3 wide. Potter gets spun around.
Erka Lindstrom involved in that one. Lindstrom still out on the track, but lost a lot of time. So far, I guess the only big name to really run into trouble was Mark Usher. He's still out there racing right now in 23rd position. Let's go back to Usher real quick. He's making a move on Lindstrom right now as he tries. This is our race winner trying to work his way through the field. My goodness, look what he's got in front of him. The car on the inside, that's Kessler. The car on the high side is Tkach. We have not heard much from Christian Tkach tonight.
Boy, and got a bunch of cars pulling off going down the pit lane. That's not going to help them, but Usher's loose. Oh, Usher loses it in the turn right in front of, and Usher, wow, Usher's gone already.
Yep, that's
did he?
Look at it right there.
Did
Usher
he
in the
DQ
blue
that
car.
quickly?
Yep, he did. And you see
Should we get a shot of that?
And we have it right there. Bam, he got T-boned as he spun.
Oh, there we go. There's our picture of it.
The car that got into him, I believe that was Lindstrom who T-boned him. He just got around Lindstrom.
Well, yeah, poor Erka had nowhere to go there, but boy, Usher goes from 0 to 0.
Yep.
Silvio Hurt off the track back here, coming out of Vodafone.
Okay, let's take a breath here and see where we are up front. We talked about the 3 words on the mind of Lawrence de Reich. It was wire to wire. It seemed silly when I said it. It seems like a reality now as he is 2.2 seconds ahead of Stevie Chambers. Chambers is in a battle with Ty McLeod. Let's see this again. Chambers is notorious for making a late defensive move. He does not make it this time, and McLeod is going to get the pass made, I think, as he closes the door like Queen Elsa on her coronation. Moving up into 2nd position, Ty McLeod, Stevie Chambers relegated back to 3rd. The Milkman, Andy Cowie, racing in 4th, trying to hold off Daniel Morris. Adam Tierney has fallen back to 6th. You can see that long run right there. Here they coming right at you. Morris. Behind Morris is Tierney, Holstein.
Oh, good battle. Kerry Nolden trying to get around Alexander Trowbridge, who had trouble early. Trowbridge fallen 10 spots. Kerry Nolden reeling him in here. Trowbridge locks him up there. Getting into Vodafone.
Where are the names of the front runners? Guys that we saw up at the front in the feature race? Well, Phil Reed is racing in 9th right now. Mr. Excitement, Jordi Lopez is in 10th. Aisio Tellis is in 11th. Josh Thompson, you remember all these guys, right, fans? Christian Koch back there in 13th. They've managed to get around Trowbridge, and that's Sean you're talking about. Kerry Nolden wants to join the party because he would like to get around these guys. And there's Michael Mittner's got more work to get done.
Oh,
Mittner coming into the pits.
He must have done something to his machine.
We're looking at this battle now. This is Cowie, a battle for third. Cowie in third. This is Chambers behind him. Daniel Morris out in front. Ty McLeod in second. This is some good fighting going on there. Christoph Holstein watching the whole thing back in sixth. Not close enough to be of a factor right now.
Phil Reed just picking up a spot on Adam Tierney. Put Phil Reed up
Here he
to
comes.
8th. He's up 9 spots. Soup continues to move up the field.
And he is only a few seconds behind this battle that we're watching. He's going to be in here soon. Reed, a real chance to get some positions here, as it's going to be a buffet of positions to choose from as we can pick up another second. McLeod in second, Cowie in third, Chambers in fourth, Morris in fifth. And honestly, I think they're racing in reverse order of their speed right now. I would say the fastest drivers are behind, maybe not Chambers, but I think Daniel Morris probably has the pace to get around all those guys in fifth position. And Tierney had as he goes off in the sand. Now we're looking at, let's go to a battle in sixth spot. Holstein under attack. Here comes Reed. We talked about it, Sean. Reed stuck on the outside. He would have been able to make the pass. He just had no room because Andre was in front of him. Enric Andre kind of blocking the path for Reed, but Reed able to get the job done, move him up to 7th. And he is hungry. Boy, he is late breaking in there. Almost got into the back of Andre there. Scared me. Man, he is all over him. This is not really a passing zone, is it, Phil? Phil says, if there's place, if there's road to travel, I can pass on it. Give the spot to Phil Reed. He's up to 6th.
Boy, coming to the top of that hill, it's blind.
Shoo.
Gotta get off the power, slow the car down enough so it doesn't drift off. Phil Reed putting that power down right now.
1.2 seconds before he gets to Daniel Morris in 5th, and then they come boom, 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 boom. Right after that, Phil, you won't have far to look for positions. 4.9 seconds. Lauren sudden strike to right back to 2nd place.
Oh, we got a huge off. Out of
Trowbridge. What's it? Are you looking at the Trowbridge?
Trowbridge, yeah. Boy, and the car just snaps on him. Tries to correct it. No time to get it. Can't catch it. Yeah, there it goes. Right into that barrier. Knocks the front off. That's it for Trowbridge.
Had to be frustrating as all the big names were getting around him. Josh Thompson, Kerry Nolden, Christian DeCatch, all made it around him. We talk about the big names that are in the hunt, but the biggest name of all is Phil Reed. And what's interesting, I think Reed is bringing along with him Andre and Holstein. This is going to be quite a party coming up in a minute as he's trying to run down Daniel Morris.
Boy, Sue, you put the call in for, Lawrence. Lawrence to right there.
The only fly in the ointment of the wire-to-wire, I think, is Phil Reed. If Reed can make short work of these guys, I think he might have the pace to get to Reich.
Hey, I'm a big Phil Reed fan, but he's not going to make quick work of these dudes. I'm sorry. He's just not. They're going to make him earn every bit of it, Sue. Daniel Morris locking it up right in front of Phil Reed. A lot of spots on this track where it's easy to lock up a tire. This new tire model, that does cause a problem for the tire. You can flat spot or heat it up. Oh, Phil Reed making a charge there.
Yeah, he's got to be careful. It's the newcomer, Enric Andre, right behind him. Almost got center punched by Andre, but it's okay. Daniel Morris, we've been on this series long enough to know that Daniel Morris is a pretty good driver, and he's got a pretty good run now on Stephen Chambers. Let's see, don't you dare come across there now. That a boy. He keeps that outside line. Now let's see if it's going to be a twofer in the wrong direction for Chambers. No, Chambers tries to close the door on Phil Reed, does a little rhinoplasty and chops off the nose. Not really. Reed gave him room. But this is Daniel Morris now, gets around Chambers. Reed's going to want this as well. Let's stay on this one. As here it is again, Chambers gets a little bit loose, so that's an easy pass now for Reed. And he's also going to give up the position to the newcomer, Andre. They go side by side as they come down into 6th. Can they get this sorted out? Yep. Stevie backs out of it, I think, as he drops back into 7th position. You want excitement? Watch one of these sprint races, right, Sean?
Yeah, indeed. Wow, a great job by Andre, having a really, really good drive here in this sprint race, but none better than Phil Reed right now, up 12 spots, Sue, in the top 5, and really the podium, not out of question at this point.
Let's go to second.
Just up there.
Yeah, McLeod is trying to fend off now Andy Cowie. Cowie I think Cowie was ahead of him early on, if I can read my notes while still calling the race. I think Cowie had that position, lost to McLeod, he'd like it back. But once Morris was able to get around Chambers, he's on a fly now, because here comes Morris, and he's bringing with him Phil Reed. They want to get this done quick, because 6 seconds ahead of all of this is Lawrence Sudden Strike to Reich. He's saying, fight it out, boys.
He doesn't care anything about this battle behind him, Soup. He does not. In fact, he's ripped the mirrors off the car, I think.
Just under 14 minutes of racing to go with a 6-second lead. I think Sudden Strike to Reich got to be happy with that one.
McLeod, we were on board with him. You're looking out his back wing, but what you didn't see was that the left front tire locking up there in turn, out of turn 3 on that exit.
Here comes Reed. Oh, Reed looking to pester Morris. In fact, he chases Morris off the track. Morris wasn't sure where Reed was going. He gave him the inside line. He kind of scared him over. That was half pass on racecraft, half pass on reputation. Phil Reed moves up into 4th position. Morris now under attack from the newcomer, Enric Andre. And Enric drives to the inside as they work through Vodafone. And he gets it done.
Wow. Oh, nice move by Andre.
Yeah. So, Reed to 4th. Andre to 5th. Morris, who was on his way forward, has now fallen back to 6th. And here comes the man you don't want to... Oh, and Stevie Chambers has had a spin.
Yeah, Stevie's going to lose it on exit.
Right in front of Holstein.
Doesn't hurt the car, but got to let everybody get through. Tough break for Stevie there. Boy, he was doing so good too, Soup.
Yeah, that was fun while it lasted.
Ooh. Christian Koch picking up a spot, gets by Christoph Holstein. That's another one for Koch. Koch now up 11 spots, got himself in the top 10.
Reed gets by Cowie. Cowie now under a track from Enric Andre. This is a battle for 4th. Reed has got them all done. There's only one more to go, Phil, and that is Ty McLeod.
Have we talked about Jordi Lopez? He's picking up another spot, getting by Daniel Morris.
Yeah, that was right before we had the spin by Chambers. I saw that Lopez has worked his way back behind Morris. Morris now dropping another spot, going down to 7th. Lopez.
Wow.
Let's see if he can get the kid to school safely this time. He's got Andre in front of him, Cowie.
Well, he's been digging awful hard, Soup. He started 25th, now up to 6th. Andre, he's closing in on him. He's about a good second faster than Enric Andre.
Other big names who are making their way through. Christian Koch is in 8th position. He's got around Holstein. Aisio Talius, we saw him up front. He's racing in 10th. Kerry Nolden in 11th. Josh Thompson in 12th. Oh, a spin! And there it was. And he collects another car, I think. Yep. That was Tejas.
Man, and gets the end of that. Boy, just on the curve, too long. You're going to see it here on the replay.
He did not. It was Josh Thompson who got underneath him at bullet speed.
Man, and he just, again, runs out that curbing a little bit too long there, catches the end of it. It shoots the car around. There actually might have been a little bit of netcode involved with that too, Soup. It looked like maybe there at the end, the way the car turned.
And look at that. And Cowie has lost it.
Trouble for the milkman. And that's big trouble. He knocks the front off.
He was being challenged by Enrique Andre. I think the pressure getting to some of these guys, Sean, that aren't used to racing so hard.
Yeah, and Andy just spins it. I mean, it's no other way to say it. There's no contact there. just spun it around and can't recover from that. He's gone.
Reed has got around McLeod. He's done everything he can now. There's only one driver in front of him. The gap used to be 5. I saw it at 6.3. Right now it is 5.6 with just under 10 minutes of racing left. Can Phil Reed close in on Lawrence Sudden strike to right?
And Soup, you know what else we missed? We missed Jordi Lopez picking up more spots around Enric Andre. Jordi now up to 4th, the podium. In sight, a 1.5 seconds up from him. Ty McLeod, that's his next victim. He's on the hunt.
I think of the best battle. Let's go back to Coke in 7th. There are so many. Let's watch here. Coke in 7th. Holstein. Behind Holstein, here's Kerry Nolden. Going to be too late to make a move down there. No, I'm wrong. My gosh. There was no way that Holden, and he couldn't.
Ooh.
I didn't think Nolden could make it. He was way too far back.
Boy, he was, and it hurts the car a little bit. And also right there, and comes back up in front of Christian Tkach, who is digging Soup, trying to pick up spots himself. Christian up 17. That's
your defending champion.
Yeah.
Trying to make up whatever points he can. Nolden make that attack from... Oh my goodness, this track is in the Netherlands. He was trying to make that from Belgium. Oh my goodness.
Okay. Yeah,
how could this possibly... Sean, go ahead. You know what I'm going to talk about.
Well, yeah, he's picked up some damage. Lawrence de Wright got some damage on the car. And he has fallen off down 2 seconds. Phil Reed back. We've got us a race now.
He's got 8.5 minutes to stay out in front, but the way the gap is closing, I don't know if he's off pace because of the damage or if he had an off that we didn't see. Nolden has had another issue. Nolden got into it this time with Christian Tkach.
Yeah, Christian to get contact with Tkach, sends Nolden off. They just get together, a little wheel-to-wheel contact, and Tkach now falls. He's got Patrick Kessler closing in on him. He's got to defend him.
The argument will go like this. Tkach would say, I was there, clearly there. And Nolden says, well, I have to turn in sometime.
Yeah,
Reed, go ahead.
I'm sorry, I said Lawrence de Wright had some damage. Maybe just a little bit of wing damage. I don't know that car is actually really hurt. I think maybe he made a mistake. Phil Reed's starting to reel him in. It's now down under 2 seconds. So maybe just trying to get back into his rhythm, but he better hurry up. There's only 7.5 minutes left.
Well, he's had nobody in front of him. He hasn't had any lap track or anything. So if he picked up some damage, it would be from going over a curb or having a spin. The gap has seemed to settle down a little bit. So if we missed a spin from the leader, we apologize. It must have been a short one. He was up by about just over 5.5 seconds, and now it's down to 1.5 seconds. 7 minutes to go. I think Reed has time to get there. But what my dad always used to say, passing the car is like milking a rooster. The hard part starts after you catch it. And right now, sudden strike to right, going to be one hard rooster to milk, I think.
Yeah, but Phil Reed is catching him, Soup, and I am a little concerned about that. You know, I'm looking at the nose of Lawrence de Wright's car. You know, there is some scuffing on it. You know, it might have damaged the under tray, and that might just be killing him right now. But Phil Reed continues to reel him in here as they head across the line. Phil, still the much faster car.
Let's go to 7th real quick. This is Morris being under attack from Holstein. Morris taking his half out of the middle, and Holstein has nowhere to go. He had a good run. Morris did not take a defensive line. He left the really tight inside line open if that's where Holstein wanted to go. Holstein said, I'll try it on the top side. Didn't work. They have plenty of time. Take it one more time next time around. You can see the sand out on the track from these guys. Move up a couple spots to 5th. How about Enric Andre being challenged by Coke? Remember, Coke had a great first run trying to make up some more positions. Is this really a passing zone? I don't think so, but I guess it is when you're Christian Coke. Move them up to 5th.
And Coke has been steady. Look at this, the top 5 right now, Soup. The big movers. Phil Reed, Jordi Lopez, Christian Coke, all coming from the back.
We don't need to go there, but the gap to the lead now is under a second. Actually, we might need to go there.
Yeah, we might, Soup.
I say that, but
That's
Phil
right.
Reed is really flying.
I am keeping an eye on it.
Another thing we'll watch, McLeod is trying to hang on to that podium spot, but he's got Mr. Excitement, Jordy Lopez, coming in behind him.
Sue, it's 5 minutes across the line. I'm looking at 4 laps here to get this race done. Can Sudden Strike hang on? Is there anything left here?
I think it's going to be a matter of racecraft. I don't think he has the pace, but I think he's going to put that car out there, race it like a kidney stone, make it hard to pass. And right now, here comes Phil Reed behind him. With apologies to the cars that are farther back, we know that there's excitement going on back there, but really, this is the story right here. A lot of our attention is going to be on top of. We look at Phil Reed. Luckily, before we had our technical difficulties, we believe we were able to get the Phil Reed interview in for you guys. He talked about just taking his time and waiting, but right now, he's on the hunt. I'd say it's about 5 car lengths. I'd say it's about 3 car lengths now, as they work their way through those 7, 8, and 9 combinations.
So I'm going to give you an update on the podium. It's Jordy Lopez trying to take down Ty McLeod here. Time running out, under 4 minutes to go. Jordy has reeled him in just 0.3 of a second. You're going to break a little bit deeper in the Audi S. Oh boy, right up on him.
Well, I think we're going to go as they work now. Our leaders go through 12 and 13. I think it's to the point where DeRuyck is going to have to take a defensive line here because Reed's going to be really strong out of Lyondike. Yeah, there's the defensive line. He's not going to give him the inside. And now he starts to ease over. Reed gives him enough room, but he is gone, fighting back his Sudden Strike. Let's hope he doesn't live up to his nickname. They continue to the Dutch. Sudden Strike, he hits him, and he straightens him out. That was very polite. Once he turned him, he said, excuse me. Now going by as DeRuyck is slow. That is Lopez, who's got around McLeod. How is Reed? Is Reed's car healthy?
He's running.
He was turned completely perpendicular with the track, and then he got touched again a second time by Sudden Strike, straightened him out, and he's out in front. We're going to go to a quick replay and look at this. Oh, no? Thank you.
Reed's car looks good, Soup. I don't see any damage on it. Here's the replay on board with Lawrence.
This is some skillful driving here. They hit a guy and then correct him.
Yeah, well, that second bump up on the wheel, on the right front wheel, that straightened it back out. Phil's still running. I don't see any damage on the car.
Good news for Phil, bad news for DeRuyck. He's back to 9th.
Jordy Lopez in a podium spot. Ty McLeod still hanging on to 3rd. Boy, here comes Christian Koch. He wants a piece of the podium too, Soup.
The interval between 1st and 2nd looks pretty steady. I think the one we want to watch is Koch right now, because he seems to pass wherever he likes. The defensive line from McLeod. Koch on the outside, he's got a good run. I think he's going to be able to get this done even before they get there, as he is around. And can he close it on the momentum on the outside? They continue. Cialis bathtubs now, and Tkach has had an issue. Tkach has spun right in front of Lawrence Sudden Strike DeRuyck, who had to take offensive action into pit lane. There's Tkach. Stay with this.
DeRuyck,
and there's DeRuyck behind him. Was it DeRuyck who got into him, Sean?
Yeah, it was. DeRuyck coming across to look like he was coming across into pit lane. He catches Christian Tkach and ends Tkach's day. Tkach's still limping around, but that's what he's doing. He's limping around. I think only 3 wheels are touching the ground. Go back to this battle here, though, on screen.
Hate it when a guy lives up to his nickname more than once. As we look at this battle for 4th right now. Koch is in 3rd. McLeod is in 4th. Enric Andre in 5th. 48 seconds of racing left. I don't think the white flag has come out yet. I think it's going to go to Reed this time around.
It will. Phil making his way through the last turns now.
And Sean, able to mind that gap to the 2nd place driver.
Yeah, I thought Jordy was closing it down there for a second, but he didn't. And Phil going to come across and take the white flag. Jordy in 2nd. Christian Koch in 3rd.
Ty McLeod started in 6th, in 4th position.
And Eric Andre trying to make a move in on him, and Tarzan doesn't pull it off. McLeod hangs on, not by much.
And if I'm looking to go to 11th position, this is Stevie Chambers. Is that Christian to catch still out there racing?
Yes.
Running him down. My
is.
gosh. My God, jeez.
To catch struggling with that car heavy, just locks him up behind Stevie Chambers.
Looking at 4th position now. Here's McLeod. And Andre is all over him again. What was never a passing position, a passing part of the track in a feature race. Rules do not apply as they work through Vodafone now. Inside position goes to Odie, gives him a little bit of a push, pushing McLeod off. Andre gets that spot.
Ty gets a tire on him. Maybe a little wing to the tire sends Andre around there in the Audi S.
Loses a spot to Morris, to Holstein, to Thompson. 3 spots as he falls back to 8th. Phil Reed. Going to be shown the checker flag. He gets the win of the sprint race as he comes from 17th to 1st. Round number 3. 2nd place goes to Jordi Lopez. Christian Koch gets 3rd. McLeod 4th. Daniel Morris going to get 5th.
Wow. These sprint races never disappoint, Sue. They never disappoint. How about Jordi? The battle for 13th here coming to the line.
Look at this. This is Sarah Dove on the outside. On the inside is Michael Mittner. Dove and Mittner go side by side. It goes to the Austrian driver. Sarah Dove gets 13th. John Francois Godin is going to come across in 15th. The Orange Viking, Knut Martinson and Jonas Vastamaki round out the cars on the lead lap. Woohoo! As the drivers congratulate each other.
I like this track.
Well, yeah, I think it puts on a pretty darn good show. What we're going to do right now is take a short break here on the Global Sim Racing channel, but we'll be back to run down the complete finishing order of the sprint race that we just saw, talk to some of the drivers, and then close up shop. Don't go far. Welcome back to the Global Sim Racing Channel's coverage of the Apex Online Formula Renault 2.0 Championship, round number 3 from Zandvoort. We just got the sprint race in. My goodness, it was full of excitement. Let's run down your finishing order right now. He came from 17th on the starting grid all the way through the field to get the win. We're talking about the former champion Phil Reed. How about Jordi Lopez? He is exciting to watch. 25th to 2nd for him. Christian Koch, 19th to 3rd. That's what these inverted grids are all about. Ty McLeod started 6th, moved up 2 spots for 4th. Daniel Morris, 10th to 5th as well. Christoph Holstein, 11th to 6th. All the drivers I mentioned going positive. Joshua Thompson, 15th to 7th. Enric and Andre, this is interesting. He passed about 1 million cars out there and got passed by 1 million cars, started 8th, finishing 8th. Patrick Kessler, 27th to 9th. Adam Tierney, the one driver started on the front row, started in 2nd position, going to finish in 10th. Sean?
And started right up there with him, Stevie Chambers. His fate gonna wind up with 11th. But hey, listen, good job, Stevie. Christian Tkach. Big mover in this race, up 16 spots to finish 12th today. Michael Mittner, he started 13th. That's exactly where he finishes. Sarah Dove, with a great effort herself, up 15 spots, finishes 14th. Jean-Francois Godin, the best he could manage, was a 15th place finish today. Knut Martinsen, 16th. Eunice Vastamaki, 17th. 18th, Lawrence DeReich. Soup, boy, has there ever been a tougher loss? I don't know. Well, there probably has been. Darren Potter, 19th, and Kerry Nolden going to round out the top 20.
Yeah, I got to admit, an 18th position finish for DeReich just doesn't seem fair after what kind of race that he had.
No.
And the back part of the field, Andy Cowie, Aisio Tellas, Erka Lindstrom, Alexander Trowbridge, Patrick Jung, Silvio Hurt, Mark Usher. He won the feature, could not come back for points in the sprint. And we talked about it. That's not how you win a champion. You got to get points in both events. Evan Imre and Renee Osterkamp, another driver who did well early on, not so good in the sprint. But here's a driver who knows how to get points in the sprint race, and we're going to bring down Phil Reed right now, our sprint race winner. Phil, Soup here, I'm looking through my handbook here of racing racecraft techniques. I don't see how that pass that you made is anywhere in this book. That was something else.
It was a bit different, wasn't it? Yeah. Yeah, that was I did it finally.
When you were sideways and then you got turned back, how long did it take you to realize this car is drivable still?
I figured going through the next corner, actually, where I was expecting to steer off the road, and then I didn't. I was like, oh, okay, so it's at least survived the corners. I can still got the cornering ability. Now we'll test the straight. Got down to the end of the straight, and I was able to get into 7th gear, and I knew then that I was fine.
Let's talk about your drive-through, and we saw most of it. My goodness, you were passing in places I didn't know you could pass, and you took your time, but when there was an opportunity, you sure did grab it.
Yeah, that's easily the best sprint race I've ever had. Probably one of the best races I've ever had in both cars that we've done to 11 seasons, and yeah, it's one of the best. And yeah, it's moving through the field. I was just sort of like my initial thought was get past these. There was a couple of guys that I wanted to be ahead of on lap 1, and luckily I was able to do that with them getting involved in incidents, and I was able to get through actually more cars than I was expecting on lap 1. And then after that, it was set it lap by lap. I was trying to just push. I knew that I was quicker than everyone ahead at this point, so I just needed to take it slow and take it calm, and start passing as I was doing. And then I was sort of putting a little bit of scare tactics on a couple of corners, which I think got people to go a little bit wider than they probably needed to, which allowed me to sneak through on the inside. I think at the end of the curvy straight was one of those positions. Yeah, and then I was thinking, okay, right, I'm in for 2nd here. I'm in for 2nd. That's all I'm getting this race. And then Loren made a slight error at turn 1, and I thought, right, okay, I think I could probably catch him at this point, but I didn't know just how quickly, and then all of a sudden I was right with him. So yeah, I thought I'll make the move as early as I can, and it went a little bit messy, as you say, but I think it was all good enough.
I think it was all fun.
Sorry,
put on a good show for sure. Hey, congratulations on the win. Good luck the rest of the way.
Thank you very much. Take care, guys.
Phil Reed, always a good interview.
Yeah,
John, who you got?
Man, I've got Josh Thompson. Josh, what a run today! You get sixth in the feature race. You get seventh in the sprint race. That's consistency. That's what we're talking about here. That's how you maximize your point effort in this double event every week.
Yeah, I'm surprised, to be honest, because I genuinely felt I didn't have the pace all day. I really struggled around this track. I mean, in both races, trying stuff with the setup still, but race 1 managed to avoid the crash at the start, worked my way through a little bit, had a bit of contact with Jody, my bad, and which then caused him to have damage on the front wing, which then I felt a bit bad for, so I let him go through in the second race in payback. So, but now I'm happy. 6th and 7th, it's good points, especially after having a DNF last week, so makes up for it.
Yeah, definitely. What a strong way. Kind of like bowling. I don't know if you're familiar with that, but that's how you pick up a spare is you come back with a strike there. And it was a good one today. What is the big challenge about this track? This is not one of the more popular tracks on the iRacing service. Where do you find yourself challenged here?
I think it's because there's such a variation in corner types. There's a parts of the lap where there's a lot of high downforce sections, but then there's places on the track you can get away with low downforce. So it's just going down long straight to turn 1. So it depends. Like certain people, I love the last part of the lap. I felt I could nail that quite nicely, but I struggled in the middle part of the lap, the entire race, just because of the bumps and stuff like that. But no, it is a very challenging track, and I think the car is very good around here when you know what you're doing.
Yeah, it really is. It's one of the stronger car track combinations I think I've ever driven. I'm telling a little bit of truth here. I just bought this track yesterday. I've been on the iRacing service now for going on 4.5 years, and this was the last track I needed to complete myself for tracks here. And boy, this one's a blast. I feel guilty that I haven't run it before.
I do agree. It is very good. Like, I find the track fun to drive at, but for racing, I don't like it as much because I think there's not as many overtaking opportunities. I think you've got to be a bit more creative. And I felt tonight, with the way my pace was, I felt I couldn't make my way through. I think in the second race, I hardly made any overtakes. Just couldn't get. I was getting overtaken and dropped, but somehow managed to come away with 7th just by keeping on the track.
Well, cheers, Josh. You do get, like I said, a great race this evening, and go off and have a great weekend, my friend. We'll see you next week.
All right, take care.
All right, Soup. That's Josh Thompson. Big day for him. I talked about the consistency over both races there for him, a 6th and a 7th. And that's what we keep talking about. That's really what you aim for when you go into these races is, let me try and finish somewhere where I did on the last one, as long as it's somewhere up in the top 10.
And of course, the AOR schedule mirrors the iRacing official schedule, so they don't have any say in it. But if Amjad and Sean and myself have a vote, I'd say let's come back here again next season. This place puts on quite a show. We'd like to thank everybody at the Apex Online Racing Organization for the Formula Renault 2.0 League that they organize, and for all the members who support this broadcast. Thanks to the company's equipment and software that you see on the screen right now that we use on the broadcast. And how about the original music you heard today? That's thanks to Eric Eckelman and Casey Lalonde. See the screen for how to contact each of them.
And the AOR returns next week, Friday, July 7th. For round 4 from Sonoma, we're going to head all the way over to California. GSRC will be there to bring you all the action. We hope you join us for more information about the Global Sim Racing Channel, your best bet. Go to our website. It's a beautiful site, globalsimracingchannel.com. You can also catch us on Twitter at GSR Channel and Facebook. Yes, we still use Facebook. We use it a lot. Type in Global Sim Racing Channel. You'll find us there.
And now, on behalf of the man whose voice you just heard, Sean Ambrose, our director, Amjad Yaman, and our camera artist, Dougie Beard, I'd like to thank all of you, and this is sincere, for watching. We hope you enjoyed the show. With that said, we're off to have fun storming the castle, so until next time, race clean, race hard, and we'll see you on the track.